Hi, this is Daisy from Her Time, and we are actually recording our Mother's Day episode today. As you see on your screen, we've got some guests with us, and we'll find out who they are in a second. But I want to start off by reminding everybody of Her Time's email, which is hertime, the number 4, at gmail dot her time number 4 talk at gmail.com. We're also on Instagram. You can find us with that same name, Facebook, and you'll find us on YouTube as well. So I have already said that my name is Daisy. What I want to do now is have our guests introduce their moms. I already told you we're doing a Mother's Day episode. So they're going to introduce their moms, and then their moms are going to introduce their children. Go ahead.
Well, this is Jeanette Maldonado, my mommy.
Hello. And this is my daughter, Jade Christina Maldonado, soon to be Wagstaff.
This is my mom, Regina this summer, and this young lady has raised me my whole life, so that's the whole reason I'm here.
This is my son, Roman Casares, Roman Alberto Casares, and soon to be Roman Alberto Casares.
Mr.
Mr.
Sister, yes.
This is my mom, Rosalind. And this is my daughter, Seila Amadis Feliciano.
Amadis.
I always forget about the Amadis. That's right. Okay, well,
Soon to be, just kidding.
I am the only one on here without her daughters. I have 2 adult daughters, both married, both have children. And that is the reason they are not on the episode with me, because we are recording at a time when one of them is so busy with her 16-month-old running around that she can't sit still long enough to record. So that's why she's not here. And then my other daughter just had a baby. So we've got a newborn grandbaby in our family. So that baby is unpredictable at night, and we could not plan for her to be here. But I'll be the one hosting, introducing the questions to our distinguished panel. And we'll see how this turns out. We're going to have fun with it. Again, it's for Mother's Day, so hopefully you'll be able to invite either your mom, your child, your daughter, your son to watch together and just have some fun with the questions as well. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to ask the children, and I don't mean that in any derogatory way. I just want to distinguish between the parent and the child. So I'm going to ask the child this, and you can jump in and answer.
The offspring.
Oh, that's true. The offspring. That has sounded so animalistic to me. I'm like, yeah, I never used that term. But if you want to think of them as offspring, by all means, we'll eventually get to where we're just naming people. 3 words that best describe your mom. 3 words that best describe your mom. And whoever's ready, like this second, by all means, you can start.
Well, I would like to say 3 words would definitely be loving, creative, and passionate. Because everything she does, I feel like she just goes above and beyond with her passion.
Thank you.
Oh, what a great way to get started. Roman or Seila?
I would have to say resilient, loving, and kind.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I would say loving, honest, and sympathetic, because she has that caring and loving side to her, and also she's also like very understanding, but she's also going to tell you how it is.
Yep.
Okay. Well, the common word, right, descriptor here is loving. Every one of you is loving. And I'm sure if my girls were on, they would say the same thing to me. So we're going on that assumption. There's a saying, and I remember experiencing this myself with my own parents. There's a saying that goes like this: the older I get, the smarter my parents get. And in this case, fill that in with mom. The older I get, the smarter my mom gets. How has your mom gotten smarter? How has she gotten smarter?
I feel like it's kind of part of parenting. Like you have to keep getting smarter because your kids are also getting smarter. They have to keep up with them. And that's something I realized as I got older. I was like, wait a minute. My parents they're doing everything I did growing up. So they also, maybe when they first had kids, they didn't know what they were doing. So they had to keep getting smarter and smarter and growing with their kids.
Yeah.
Ahead.
Yeah, they have to be ahead of the game in some way, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Selah or Roman?
I think like my interpretation of that was the older and older you get, the more and more you understand the actions they made. So it's like, wow, like what they did actually made sense. Because when I was 12,
Right.
I didn't understand why she didn't want me to binge candy. But now I realize that that's not good health wise or fundamentally.
Right. Right.
The older I get, the more I understand the things she's done. And now that I'm smarter, I can grasp how smart that she's been. So
Yeah. Yeah, she really was smarter all that time, right? Yeah,
I
she was
love
pretty
that.
smart. How about you, Selah?
I think
How's
for
mom
me,
gotten smarter?
as like when I was younger, I think like since obviously you're not given like a book on parenting besides like the Bible, but my mom was just like she didn't know how to react to certain situations, but I feel like now she's gotten better at reacting like in a thoughtful and a more kinder way to certain situations. And if she does something that's um not really caring or compassionate or really doesn't think about a situation, the very next day she'll be like, Selah, I did this, I'm sorry, here's why. And I think that's been something that's like, okay, she's gotten smarter in that aspect.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you. I appreciate that. Um, I'm gonna ask the moms, how do you think you've gotten smarter?
All right. Well, I don't, yeah, like Selah said, I would always tell Roman, look, I don't have a book on how to, God didn't, when you were born, God didn't give me a book that says this is how you raise Roman. And I would always tell him that. And so I think that getting smarter as a mom is more like filling your toolbox with tools. You know, you just learn something and you put it in your toolbox and you might use it later, you might not, but I feel like it's just every situation you have with your child, you have to use that as a tool.
Yeah.
very helpful analogy since I'm a extrovert. She's
That's a
already
good
using the
one.
tools in her toolbox.
I think
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I think experience, right? Things that you've learned along the way have caused, you like me to become smarter, make better choices, and just pray for a lot of wisdom because there are just things that I fail as a mom, and I tell her, look, I'm learning just as you. I don't have that parenting book, and I'm learning. I just know that I want to walk this journey with you, so I'm gonna make mistakes, but it's learning from those
Yeah.
experiences. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say that I think the older I get, just in general with all of my relationships, I think that the older I get, like the more I just think, wow, life is short. And I know especially now, like thinking 2 out of my 3 kids are already married and out of the house. My third one is about to get married. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, my time with them is so short. I want to make this the best time that we can possibly have. And so, sometimes it's choosing what do I want to argue about or what can I let slide and things like that. So I think that I just have tried over the years to, like, I know I've made mistakes and I've said, Jade, I'm sorry that I did not handle that very well. We talk about it or something like that. So that's how I feel like I've
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, each child has their own toolbox because the same tools that I could use with Roman do not work with my other.
Exactly.
So
Exactly. Exactly. We have to take that into consideration as well. I'm sure that in your growing up, your mom has frustrated you, angered you. Yes. Even if later, you come to the realization, you know what, she was so right. But at the moment, I got really upset. Can you share a moment with the rest of us? I want to make sure that everybody understands who's watching this episode that it's not a cakewalk, that it's not easy and that tempers flare. And sometimes it's the temper of the child that flares. So, children, can you share a moment with us where you got really upset at your mom?
Don't be afraid. Go ahead. Go for it.
okay, you don't have to be afraid.
Any specific story or anything, but
I think he's going.
I guess maybe if I've ever gotten upset, it's been if like I do something and we're out somewhere and she's like Jade, why are you doing this or whatever? And then I guess I get super embarrassed. So then I start, I get mad at her because I'm embarrassed, even though it might not even be anyone around. It could just be like, I did something wrong. So she's like, what's going on? And then I'm like, what? Why is anything wrong? Why is it something I did? And then later on, I'm like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have been doing that. And like, when else should we have been stopping you from doing that?
Okay.
Speaking to that real quick, I do know, and this I think hopefully is something that I'm learning and getting there, is that kind of what she's saying about like, well, can you not say that? I'm embarrassed or whatever. Like, I do know that sometimes I have a tendency to want to talk about something right now because it's happening right now when I could have waited to tell, like in a better situation when it was just me and her, private, nobody else around, so I know that sometimes I have done that. So I apologize for that.
I'm saying like, sometimes it could be no one around. It could just be
Yeah,
a car or something.
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah. But timing, JD, timing in all fairness is important, and it's important in every relationship.
Even if there was nobody around.
Yeah.
It could be just let the situation diffuse a little bit and then.
Yeah, it might shift the moment and we may not want that to happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Selah, how about you? How has
Okay.
mom frustrated you?
So for the longest time,
Many ways.
well, no, not many ways. But sometimes when we're out in public, she doesn't publicly say anything. She just gives me a look. She just like stares into the depths of my soul. And that's how I know either be quiet or like just don't say anything anymore. And then when we get home, she's like, so. And then we'll have to like discuss whatever it is. Which I think has been a little frustrating because I'm like, wait, what am I doing wrong that you're giving me the look for? And then it's like I can't figure it out. And then I remember one time when I was really little, and we had some friends over. And this kind of relates to like what JD was saying about being embarrassed. And I remember I had spilled a glass of orange juice, and my friends were there, and my mom got mad in front of my friends, and then I was embarrassed, and I remember that. And that was frustrating.
Yeah.
with
And
her.
and I have never done that again
No.
because I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so
Traumatizing.
sorry.
Traumatizing.
Can't even
A little bit of my mother came out at that time. I was like, oh no, that can't happen again.
Yeah.
Orange juice is traumatizing. It's
So it's
triggering.
your trigger, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I can't really think.
Oh, stop.
No, seriously. I've never been rebellious enough to just straight up get angry at my mom.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
in any conflict, I've always just been like, all right, whatever. Things would probably be easier if I just didn't indulge. But I guess um I think I had one instance in my head, but I can't remember it now.
Okay.
I'd have to say probably when I was younger, when it was like smaller conflicts, like, hey mom, can I go over to my friend's house and have a sleepover? And she'd be like, nah, sorry, that you're not gonna do that. You need to be home to clean, and we're gonna have dinner. So your room is a mess, house is a mess. You can't go yet, right? And so I'll be like, that's not fair. I'm not your maid or whatever, right? That's what she says. So
Okay.
I don't know why I'm doing this, but that's probably it.
That's a great example. That's a
Uh-huh.
great example. Yeah. Um, when you think about, JD, you're engaged, going to get married. Roman, same thing. You're going to get married. We know that's in Selah's future as well, your own families. When you think about parenting, what are some things that you will like deliberately, intentionally take into your own parenting? Well, yeah, this was a really good lesson that I learned from my mom, and I'm going to make sure that this is the way that I raise my children.
I for sure have to say the way she's done like punishment as a like for consequences of my actions is certainly in a manner that I don't see very often, and I'd like to take it in consideration when raising my own children, because the Bible explicitly states to not spare the rod on your child. And, she did this in a very graceful manner when I look back on it. Um, when I talk to other people, they'll be like, yeah, my parents used to hit me, my parents used to beat me, they did this, they just didn't care. They saw what I did and they acted irrationally and impatiently. Me and my mom was like, this is what you did wrong, so that's why you'll be receiving this consequence. This is what you did wrong, this is why you'll be receiving this, and this is what you did wrong, this is why this will be happening from now on.
Yeah. Yeah.
You understand my reasoning? And I'd be like, yes. So get it done then.
Yeah.
And then she probably end up crying with me after. So
Yeah. Cool. Thanks. JD or Stela, what are you taking with you?
Oh, sorry. I was thinking about his story. But one thing that my mom has definitely like taught me throughout the years, and well, both of my parents, but I feel like is just do everything unto the Lord. Like, so I feel like with every job that I've had, people are always like, why are you so like why do you care so much? you know? And I feel like that's definitely something is work unto the Lord, and everything you do, just do 100%. I feel like it's
Yeah.
gotten me pretty far,
Yeah.
because
Okay.
sometimes I feel like I don't, I don't really care about this, or I don't want to do this, or why am I pushing so hard on everyone else around me? Is it caring at all? I feel like I just think about that, and then when I give 100%, I'm able to grow, which I feel like is how she is with her theater troupe. Like I feel like she always does everything to 100%, like above and beyond what people's
Yeah.
expectations is.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. Good. Good.
When you're
Selah.
thinking of a macrame mastermind, I don't know, but you'll certainly take those work ethic ideas with you.
Right. 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 Selah, what are you
So
taking with you?
I think for me, going into parenting is that even from when I was little, my mom would always have like little like dates with me, like just mommy daughter dates, and just like spending that alone time with your child. And even if like I were to have more than one child, picking days to spend with those like specific like children and like asking them like, how are you like doing in this moment? That's been something like recent, like those like check-ins, and
Yeah.
I think that's like really just needed so that like to have that quality time, that one-on-one time.
Mm.
Good. Thank you. Moms, what was a goal that you had when you became a mom? What was a parenting goal, a mothering goal that you had when you became a mom? And Jesus notwithstanding, because I know we are Jesus freaks, but Jesus notwithstanding a goal that you had for your child as you were watching them grow and just kind of explore the world, what was going on in your head?
You know,
I
for
think
me, I always I've always heard people say like you can't be your child's friend, you have to be their parent. But I always believed that you can be their parent and their friend. And what I mean by that is like one of my goals was that they would know that yes, I'm their parent, but I'm also your friend, and you can talk to me. We can have fun together. We can laugh together. We can be silly together. You can come to me with anything that is um even if it's something that you're afraid to talk about, or like something deep and personal or whatever, like it's okay to share those things with me, and I want to be able to share those things with you. So yes, when it comes to the parenting, of course I want to be like, especially when they were younger, like the more, like, okay, making sure that you've done this and you've taken care of this and teaching them and guiding them. But I also want to just hang out and be silly and like be best buds, I don't know.
Yeah.
oh, yeah.
Okay. Jocelyn?
I think for me, growing up, my mom had to take care of 7 kids. So her attention was everywhere, right? So when I had Selah, I really wanted to be intentional about spending time with her, about, doing the mother-daughter thing, about just, and um as she's gotten older, just listening to her. And most recently, now that she's a teenager, and just really checking in on her and spending that time with her, because I feel like though my mom loves us, and we have a great relationship, but we really didn't have that one-on-one. My mom was too busy trying to take care of the other kids. So that was something that I wanted to take into my parenting, is making sure that I am intentional about spending time with my daughter, about being with her, and just walking with her. And I agree, as a parent, you're the parent, but you also want to be like that friend, right? So that was my goal.
Yeah.
Mhm. And now she just wants to be with me all the time, and I'm like, come on, give me space.
It worked. It worked. Regina?
I think I always wanted for the boys to know that they could come to me with anything. Like with my parents, I was always afraid to tell them, oh my gosh, like I'm doing this or I'm doing that, or I want my boys to, no matter what, know that they could come to me. If they're having a hard time, or if you know, they're dealing with hard issues and they don't know if I'll be able to like handle the issue. I want them to know that they can come to me. Like,
Yeah.
I can handle it. And if I can't, we'll figure out a way to handle it.
Mhm.
But, you know, I don't want them to be afraid to
Mhm.
ever talk to me about anything, whether it's, you know, emotional, spiritual, financial. I want them to know they can always come to me. And if I don't know the answer, we'll figure it out. If it scares me, we'll still figure it out. Because I remember when Roman
Yeah.
was little, and you know, he'd tell me things, and I'd be like, you know, holding it inside, be like, "Oh, that's okay, Bubs. We'll figure that out, right?" But then inside, I'm screaming like,
Yeah.
"Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, how am I going to have?" But I was
Mhm.
glad that he came to me, you know?
Of course.
So that's what I want my boys to know is that no matter what, they can come to me, no matter how old they are. Um, and, you know, if they need help with anything, to let me know.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like each of you has had a mother-child relationship that is worth learning from. You know, we've heard lessons not only from your own experience as a parent, but also your children. So that says a lot. There's a verse in Proverbs 31, and I know that people would normally just refer that text to women. But there's a verse that I want to make sure that we leave with today. And it says, her children rise up and call her blessed. That is such a moving, if I use my imagination, it just stirs up my emotional state, my mental state, my spiritual state. It really means a lot. It's wonderful when other people will call you blessed because we've had that happen as well. But when it's your children who have been with you 24/7, who know what it's like to see you at your best and see you at your worst and can still call you blessed, there's something you're doing right, you know. And so I'd like everyone to take that verse on. And if you don't feel like you're worthy of being called blessed, I recommend two things. One of them is have a conversation with your child. What can they do to help you get to that place? What is it that they need, are in need of, so that you can get to a place where they can call you blessed? And then the other one is ask God what it takes to get to a place to be that parent who is a blessing, where parenting, motherhood is a blessing to her children. There's plenty of scripture. I know we started with, there isn't a handbook specifically for Roman. There isn't one specifically for Selah or JD, but there is a handbook. And it is the Bible. And if we would take those principles, even when the Bible is talking about another type of relationship, if we would just incorporate those principles into our parenting, we're going to be called blessed by our children, and they're the ones who matter. So thank you for joining us. Thank you, ladies. Thank you, children. Thank you, Roman and JD and Selah. I'm so grateful for the relationships that you have with your moms. That has made them better friends for the rest of us as well. So again, per time, the number 4, talk@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you. Enjoy the month of moms. Be blessed.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Yay.